It's April 24th, 2023, when an anonymous 4Chan user posts a thread that leaves the online community stunned and glued to their monitors. Since that night, it sparked endless debate, leaving us all with a sense of wonder and fear. This is the chilling first-hand account of the whistleblower who claims the key to alien technology is hiding silently beneath the cold dark waves in the depths of our oceans. It's a normal Monday night as 4chan users drone through endless boards looking for content to curb their boredom. Suddenly, at 3:22 p.m. Eastern Time, links to a particular thread are being shared like wildfire. Thousands of users around the globe tune into a mysterious and captivating post. It reads, "I have intimate knowledge of what the US currently knows about UFOs, minus the last 2 years. UFOs are primarily unmanned drones. UFOs are built to spec each time they're deployed. UFOs are created by a mobile construction facility that hides in the ocean. Construction facility destroys anything that comes close to it and will disappear for days when approached aggressively. US believes the facility has been active on Earth for at least 100 years or much more." He finished by saying, "Fire away on questions, I'll answer what I can, and you won't be disappointed." Almost immediately, questions flood in as our mysterious whistleblower lives up to his promise. Woven into this massive archive, our mysterious whistleblower describes in incredible detail what he calls an MCU, or a mobile construction unit. He tells of its incomprehensible size, how it manufactures and deploys smaller UFOs, or research vessels, how it evades destruction from the military, and who or what is controlling it. But perhaps most chilling of all, he tells us why he's finally decided to share his knowledge. Only moments after the post goes live, users begin to pry into OP's background, asking him which branch of government he works for. Was it the Air Force, or perhaps the Department of Defense? These questions prompt our whistleblower to set 2 ground rules. The project doesn't officially exist, and he will not disclose its internal name. He will also not disclose the names or the titles of his superiors. His calculated response aligns with behavior of other government whistleblowers who have come forward in recent months. However, based on details that we'll soon get into, it's safe to assume that our whistleblower held top-level security clearance within the government, and it's also likely that he's a middle-aged man, probably somewhere between 50 and 60 years old. OP sets the stage by revealing that during his time on the project, his team was responsible for tracking the MCU, along with retrieving the smaller UFOs it deploys, which he refers to as research vessels. He claims his team operated out of a vast military facility stretching for miles, with both above-ground and subterranean levels. It was a place shrouded in secrecy. He explains the crash recovery process consists of 3 teams. The first team arrives and begins the initial crash assessment and makes sure the site is safe. Then, once given the all clear, his team arrives, Team 2, to extract any equipment on the craft, including Element 115, a rare, unstable element that was only recently discovered in mainstream science, and it's widely thought to play a crucial role in powering UFOs because of its anti-gravity properties. Last, the third team arrives to remove the bulk of the craft and any debris left from the crash site. We get into more detail about this later in the video. The whistleblower claims each research vessel seems to be designed for a specific purpose or mission. For example, some are designed for studying biology, some for geology and mining, and another for surveillance. He says each vessel seems to be built around its unique function. Even the shape of the craft is designed to hold only the tools required to perform its job. Examples of some tools include a metal sheet that, when placed over a person's body, allows the user to see all of their bones, organs, and arteries in pristine detail. or a tool that allows pilots to see the wrinkles in someone's face even from miles away in any weather condition. And according to our whistleblower, tools aren't the only things they find in these crafts. Hey guys, really quick, if you liked this video, please go subscribe. The channel is so new, it's really the only way to tell me that you're enjoying the video and I should make more. Anyway, let's get back to the video, and again, thanks for watching. Our mystery man reveals that on some missions, they discover pilots, beings resembling classic gray aliens seen in the media, but with a more human-like appearance. The first time he encountered one, he was convinced it was fake, describing an eerie, almost unnatural quality about them. He says that because of their small frames, many were killed in the crash, but there were rare instances where they were found alive. He explains that unfortunately when pilots do survive, they rarely live for more than a few days, struggling to adapt to Earth's atmosphere. He claims his colleagues described keeping them alive as one of their greatest challenges, one they have yet to solve. Sometimes, however, these crash retrievals don't always go to plan. He recounts an incident where his team was sent to recover a craft that was still occupied. However, they were unable to approach the crash site without facing some form of attack, although he remains vague about what this actually entails. Ultimately, his team decided to wait for several days, allowing the entities to succumb to the environment before they could safely access the craft. He tells of another time when his team was inside a downed craft collecting equipment, when suddenly the vessel began to power back on. Without warning, the door sealed shut, trapping them inside. Panicked, he radioed the first team responsible for removing the pilots, demanding to know what was happening. The only response he got was a tense reply that said, "We're working on it." Seconds later, the craft powered up and the door unlocked. OP was never given a further explanation, but suspects that one of the beings, still alive, despite being removed from the crash, was somehow communicating with the craft remotely. Shifting focus, OP begins to describe a far more imposing presence, the much larger MCU that's responsible for deploying the smaller craft. He says he was told unsettling rumors from colleagues suggesting that successful attempts to communicate with the MCU. However, the interactions were strange. The unit seemed disinterested, almost dismissive, as though it viewed humanity the way intelligent adults might regard small children. He even likens it to zookeepers indifferent to the animals in their care, except for rare moments when the construction unit was left with no choice but to engage. He reveals detail that was probably on everybody's mind. He says that multiple assault teams were deployed to approach the mysterious MCU. However, the craft would typically sense their presence, either retreating into the ocean's depths or swiftly repositioning to avoid contact. He speculates and tells us that we eventually concluded the MCU was likely controlled by an advanced AI. The way it moved, how quickly it reacted, there was a level of precision and intent that felt non-human. He describes one such incident by saying, "The last team that attempted to close in, they never even had time to send a distress signal. It was over before they could react." He details how fighter jets and a submarine were once sent to engage the object. The submarine returned intact, the jets did not. OP explains that communications with the pilots seemed normal at first, until they crossed a certain range. Then, without warning, all signals were lost, electronics failed, and moments later, the jets were obliterated by some unknown weapon capable of disintegrating any matter it touches. OP then confesses something shocking. He says that at one point, they were even considering using nuclear missiles to attack the MCU. Thank goodness, that plan was abandoned. Although he cannot be sure, our whistleblower and his team seem to think the MCU is not new and has been operating in our depths for a very long time. He guesses it's been around for at least 100 years, as people in the comments throw out their own theories. Unfortunately, we never get a satisfying answer on this topic. Well, not yet at least. With the internet scratching their heads and wondering what the heck they just read, OP finally decides to answer one last question that's been on everyone's minds. Why disclose this now? To that he replies, liver sucks. He then leaves us with a couple of last shocking confessions. He says that he's entrusted a lockbox to his family with instructions for it to be opened only after his death. Inside, he claims lies, undeniable proof, and further details supporting his extraordinary claims. He adds that his family has been directed to share some of the lockbox's content with the 4chan thread when that time comes. For now, its secrets remain a mystery. But before disappearing, OP leaves us with one final message. One that has kept this astonishing legend alive and thriving to this very day. He says, return to this post in time and you'll be able to confirm everything I've said, hinting that more whistleblowers will come forward. And, just like he was in the past, our fateful whistleblower was right again. Since the 4chan leak, Lou Elizondo, former director of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, or ATIP, a top-secret branch tasked with analyzing UAP, has come forward saying a black USO the size of a small island has been documented operating near the Puerto Rican Trench. This claim was later verified by former Rear Admiral in the U.S. Navy Tim Gallaudet when he said, there is a USO larger than an oil rig that travels up to 500 miles per hour under the water. Strangely enough, even a few people in the 4chan comments seem to have information that corroborates our whistleblower's story. One asking OP, is this related to the one that operates in the tectonic plates near that Scandinavian country? Referring to a different MCU. Other commenters claim that indeed there are several of these construction units that operate in mountains, Antarctica, and even the Amazon rainforest. With recent events in New Jersey, more whistleblowers coming forward, and more congressional hearings on the UAP topic, it seems more and more likely that we will eventually know the truth. And perhaps, when that day comes, we'll realize that we knew the truth all along, because of the 4chan whistleblower.